I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, anime fans? We are back, and we are pumped to talk about Demon Slayer. We're covering episodes 1 and 2. 1 is called Cruelty, and 2 is trainer Sakonji Urokodaki. And again, super excited to be here. My name is Carrie Lane. Everybody's here. Why don't you say hello, Jamie?
Hey guys, what's up? Happy to be back. I feel like we were just here yesterday, technically, but it's good to be back, and I'm glad to start reviewing Demon Slayer.
Yes, Ollie.
Hey, it's Ollie Drennan. I'm so excited. I'm already really excited about this anime just by the first initial episode. So I'm ready to talk about it, and I missed you guys.
Yay, and Veronica.
Hey everyone, Veronica Valencia here. So happy to be back. Tanjiro is the goodest boy and Nezuko is best girl.
Right, we all need to save Nezuko. Now, we know the show's already come out and everything, so please, no spoilers. We're only covering 2 episodes at a time. So right now we'll talk about 1 and 2. But also real quick, let's say, has anybody seen the show already, or are we going as a new experience?
Mine is 50-50 because
Okay.
I started watching it before because I was like, everyone's talking about Demon Slayer. So I was watching it on Hulu, subbed. And so I think because, we watched a bunch of shows. At the time, we were reviewing My Hero Academia. Check out our after shows about My Hero Academia as well. But I think because I had so many other shows to focus on, I hadn't quite finished it. But I loved it. And now I found it dubbed because I know it was on Adult Swim and things like that. So it should be a lot easier to get through without feeling distracted. You know how it is with subbed. So yeah.
All right. Ollie.
Yeah, I have not touched this series until the after show, so I'm really excited going in blind. Yeah, it's really good so far.
Nice. And Veronica.
I'm in the same boat as Jamie. I had started it, but I hadn't finished it. So technically, I'm just treating this as a whole new experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. I already watched the show, so I'll omit from predictions. But in rewatching it, it's really fun to take it all in again because it's such a beautifully animated show. It's stunning. I was so excited when it came on. It's so just like a cool style, which we'll talk a lot more about that. But yeah, let's dive into episode 1. So raise your hand if you thought it started off maybe a little ominous because, we got them in danger. And then it goes to everything's peaceful. Was anybody yeah, wait, what's going on? Or I'm really suspicious about what's going on right now.
It was a good teaser. I mean, the title is Demon Slayer, so I'm expecting some death, some blood, some craziness. But it instantly got me excited. I'm like, okay, what's going on? She's on his back. There must have been some massacre. I need to keep watching. So it really did a good job of me, someone who's never seen the series, or maybe someone else like me, to get you wanting to know how it led up to that point. So I was really, really instantly pulled in, and that usually doesn't happen with anime. Certain animes, but yeah.
I agree. When I first, and this is to kind of piggyback on what Carrie said and what Ollie said. So to what Carrie said about the animation, the very first thing you see the snow and all you hear is this panting. Already you're like, okay, what's about to happen? So the first episode reeled me in because I was clenching my heart. It's literally, you have all these emotions because his family was massacred and murdered. So that reeled me in. And I think I always like to refer to other anime because that's what us anime people do. It reminded me of another show that we also reviewed, which is Attack on Titan. The first episode, I was hooked. It's it got me emotionally already. And it made me want to keep watching. And as far as to what Ollie says, yeah, it was a teaser. It made me want to figure out what happened. And so far, so good.
Veronica, watching it again. Yeah, how'd it feel?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Ollie and Jamie have already said in that it was a very good teaser just to really draw you in. Instead of kind of trying to fluff you up and give you all of this exposition right off the bat that maybe you can get lost in, it automatically hooks you with okay, here's what you look forward to, and then let's get back to kind of the setup. But even the setup was very quick. just kind of like the show we previously reviewed, My Hero Academia, this show, Demon Slayer, gets right to the point, and especially in the first episode. So it really moves quickly. And as a fan, you're instantly drawn because you want to know what this world is. Like for me, you know, if the aesthetic, if the beautiful aesthetic of the show doesn't hook you, if you know, then definitely just the teasers and the fast paced will.
Oh yeah. We get our main character, Tanjiro Kamado, and he's big brother, big happy family. Though the father has passed away, we get reference to that. And he has this kind of very foreboding, now that you know what happens, kind of comment about how life can change suddenly like water, and it's not always sunny. Whenever happiness is destroyed, there's the smell of blood. What did you all think about Tanjiro? Has this unique sense of smell. It comes up a bit throughout these first 2 episodes. What do you think of that?
I thought it was pretty dope. Okay, so again, all anime reminds me of other anime, and I know sometimes in live chat like, what?
Do I know what you're gonna say?
No, I'm gonna pinpoint everything. So, like the time period reminds me a little bit of Inuyasha, even just with that kind of whole stuff, right? And then see, Veronica, you know, and then with Tanjiro and his sense of smell, I was like, Inuyasha, like he had a great sense of smell. Just little things like that, and oh, the quote as far as like once happiness is over, the smell of blood. I was like, I rebuke that. When I'm happy, we're gonna try to stay on a happy high as much as we can. But you know, it's like that quote's not for me. But other than that, yeah.
Nice. Ollie, what do you think of that sniffer he has?
Sniffer.
He's like, I smell it. I smell something.
Well, okay, I don't mean to address the elephant in the room, but I'm gonna. What's up with his forehead? Like, what is that? Like, what is that thing on his head? Like, that's what I thought of instantly when I first saw him. Like, I didn't really. I guess it went over my head. A lot of things go over my head when it comes to like those interesting character traits. But yeah, that definitely. Now that you bring it up, that smell, his good sense of smell, is something to kind of keep your eye on. I don't know if he's part dog. I don't know if it's just a talent. But maybe I feel like there's something with him and his sister Nezuko, like there's something about them that's very special that I'm sure we're going to find out. I know that's more prediction wise, but maybe that has something to do with it. But I also love the introduction of his character because I feel like you already know that he has a lot of weight on his shoulders being the big brother. And he even had literally his sister on his shoulders later on in the episode. So he has lots of responsibility, I think. And I feel like this is going to be like a really good, like coming of age story arc for him as he like gets better with demon slaying. Like I would like to think.
Yeah. Veronica, anything you want to add?
I mean, I'm just gonna piggyback off what Jamie said, and that sniff reminded me so much of Inuyasha. You know, not necessarily comparing, but obviously there are things that remind you of other anime, and on top of the smell, just the like I had mentioned, the aesthetic, the idea of kind of being in feudal Japan, I think is, you know, I guess kind of the right way to put it. This, you know, beautiful animation reminded me so much of that anime. So obviously if you like that anime, there are things about Demon Slayer that you will automatically like, I think. But it was interesting because as far as I know, he is a human, and typically these, you know, kind of special abilities, these heightened senses sometimes come with some type of lore, which there is lore in this show and we'll get into that. But yeah, I thought it was interesting right off the bat because I was like, he's human. How is he so good?
Right. We do have a live chat going. Welcome everybody who's watching us live. And Ollie, back to your comment. Renji says, same. I knew it was a scar, but I couldn't stop focusing on it for a while.
Yeah,
so
like,
it's
I don't mean to stare, but
no, I like literally thinking of the animation and drawing it. To have to draw that every time is such a unique character choice of like that they put it in there, and it changes a little bit, and maybe we'll keep an eye on it. So we see Tanjiro, he's so helpful. He goes into town, but you know, on his way back, he has the kind of like neighbor down the hill who says, hey, don't go at night. There's demons. Just stay here for the night. How much did it suck? Like, how much did your stomach just fall when he gets back home the next morning and it's just bloodbath? And he could have gone home and either he would have died or maybe he could have done something. We don't know. How'd you feel?
I feel like I know. I feel like he could have survived. You know, I just like I was really upset. I was really upset. And I get it. Like he was trying to play it safe. The neighbor was trying to look out, although I was very suspicious at first because like the glass over the eyes, his eyes seemed different when he was warning Tanjiro, you know, to be careful of the demons at night. He was looking out for him. I get that. Tanjiro, the whole neighborhood, the whole town knows him. But it just sucks because it's like they introduced us to his whole family. He had 2 brothers and I think 3 brothers and 3 sisters, something along that lines. And to lose all of them, including the baby brother, I was like, come on, like why? I get it. Like maybe one family member, all of them except you know Nezuko. I was really bummed out about that. So yeah.
Ollie.
I know you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's like vampires, you have to invite them in. So like, is it the same thing for demons? Like, how did the demons get in there? Like, it doesn't matter. The demons are going to get into your house at some point, you know? So I props that guy for letting him in. He was also very creepy. That guy looked really creepy. No, I'm sorry. He was like, come in and eat some rice.
Super suspicious.
I was like, oh God. I got scared for a second. I'm like, okay, maybe you shouldn't trust this particular person. What if he's a demon? I don't know. But yeah, I think it was a really good job to kind of, I know I don't want the family to be massacred, but it instantly like got you behind and rooting for the Tanjiro. And obviously you want his sister to still be alive too. And so just that huge loss already makes you really invested in the show, despite it being very heartbreaking. But I feel like great heartbreak is great storytelling, you know.
Veronica.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the fact that it's his entire family, it's not just a sibling, it's his entire family. So it was very devastating. And the thing that kind of got me questioning was he has the encounter with the man who he stays the night with, and you know, basically the man kind of makes it seem that he has had some kind of encounters with demons, and that's why he treads a little bit more cautiously. I didn't get that impression from Tanjiro. I thought that, you know, he was fortunate in that he probably had never come across a demon in his life. So I think that's kind of an extra added layer of sadness to the devastation, because had this family had they encountered a demon before, or maybe, you know, if they had taken a little bit more preparation, they would have been a little bit more cautious, and maybe it wouldn't have ended up the way it did.
That's a really good point. Yeah, he mentioned his grandma had said something, but it kind of feels like, oh, that's, you know, just an old tale. It wasn't a real thing to this family until, sadly, it was too late. And then, yeah, as we said, Nezuko's still okay. When she's what did you all think of that scene where it's pretty intense, where he's on the ground, they're going down the hill, he's going to try to save his sister, they fall off the cliff, she's on top of him and grows in size and smells different, because again, there's another smell thing, and like she cries on him because she's still in there. I was like, oh good, she's not like gone. What do y'all think of those kind of moments there?
You feel conflicted, or at least I felt conflicted, because it's like, okay, he thinks his sister's okay, and then all of a sudden she kind of turns on him and is a demon. That would scare the daylights out of anybody, you know, especially if she's on top of you, she's growing in size and strength, and this is your little sister, you know. So I think for me, my first reaction would be, let me get out of here. Although he probably would have died anyway, just because she's a different person now, she's a demon. But then it also made me really sad, because when she's on top and she's crying, it's like, what do you do in that situation? You know, and honestly, she is all that he has left, and he's all that she has left. So it's heart-wrenching.
And it showed like the lengths that he would go. He thought, like you said, that's his last remaining family member that we know of, at least, that is still quote unquote alive. I don't know how demons work. You know, I always grew up watching zombie movies, and if someone's a zombie, shoot them, or if they got a cut, shoot them, get away from them, isolate them, social distancing, you know. So I still don't really know the whole, I don't, obviously, like, it's the first episode. So, but you still feel like the confliction that Jamie brought up, you know, as Jamie would also say, your sister is turning into a beast. And I was like, oh my God, she's getting huge. I got freaked out by that, just seeing her get like this mountainous size over her big brother. But yeah, also as a viewer, you want him to succeed in helping his sister, and I don't even know how he would help her. He's all by himself at this moment. So you were just there was so much tension, there was so much suspense, and it was such a powerful scene.
Yeah, it's definitely, it makes you very conflicted in your emotions. But I think for Tanjiro, he wasn't as conflicted because, as we've kind of already stated, this is his last family member who is still holding on. And Tanjiro really wants to see if he can help her, make sure that she stays alive. And kind of the point that I made earlier, in that he doesn't know much about demons. For all he knows, Nezuko could very well still be in there. And as we've seen, she is, but and we'll talk about it later, but that's not necessarily how demons are supposed to be, which that kind of makes me think of the lore that the show is trying to go with when it comes to demons. But, as an audience, we're seeing from Tanjiro's perspective. So we're just kind of as much of a novice as he is when it comes to demon lore. So it's a conflict because we're like, oh, she's vicious. She's trying to kill me. What's your gut instinct? Is to protect yourself. But he kind of has to go against that and, do what's best for her, which is, trying to help her, even though she's coming at him.
Absolutely. Then we get the attack out of nowhere, which was a really kind of, that fight scene was just a small glimpse of fight scenes that come, but it was very fun and exciting. He gets attacked by one of the demon slayers, Giyu. And that moment where Nezuko goes to protect Tanjiro, you're like, okay, maybe she is still in there. And then Ollie, I'm glad you brought up zombies, because yeah, same thing. We as viewers generally understand zombies. They're gone. Like, they are not in there anymore. And that's generally the more annoying storyline, where people are like, no, they're still there. And you're like, no, they're not. This is a case where it's like, wait, no, she's doing things she shouldn't be doing. And even the Demon Slayer notices that. What did you guys think of that character introduction and their kind of fight scene, and also Tanjiro's sneak attacks?
With Giyu, I think his name is.
Giyu, yeah, it's Giyu. Giyu.
Okay, so his character, I mean, I still don't know enough about his character yet, because it's like right off the bat, I'm like, I don't know if I like his attitude, but at the same time, he's a professional demon slayer, and it's like, how are you gonna kill my sister if I said don't kill her? Like, I don't even know you. You know what I'm saying? That's just me though. So I feel like I'd be like, if I said don't kill her, don't kill her. I know she's a demon, but she's mine. So, yeah, but I love that. I mean, I know we'll get to that, but I loved what he did in the end to help them. And I'm glad that he was cognizant enough to realize, like, hey, they're a little different. And if anything, I feel like he was saying, if another demon slayer catches you, oh well.
I'm thinking, where was this fool last night?
This
all could have been avoided. But yeah, we obviously don't know his character first episode, keep saying it. But like right off the bat, I do not like those boring, cold characters in anime. I always roll my eyes. They're so always good at fighting. That's all they're good at. But obviously there's like a story behind him. I'm sure there's a reason why he is very cold and he wants to kill demons like that. So I'm interested to know that storyline. But as a viewer, I was thinking to myself, oh, boring, go away. But thank you. But also thank you for helping. I hope he becomes more like fleshed out and more interesting as a character, because he's very just cold. He shows no expression, but he's a great fighter, that's for sure.
Great.
Yeah, I feel like his introduction may have been kind of an introduction to demons, to the idea of demon slayers as a whole. And I got the impression that he was very textbook smart, if that makes sense. Like in his training, he was probably brought up like, this is what a demon is. This is how you kill them. Once they turn, there's no going back. So therefore you got to do your duty. And I feel like that's the difference between him and Tanjiro, where obviously he seems very textbook smart. He knows what he needs to do, whereas Tanjiro is fighting with his heart at this point. And obviously he's fighting with his heart because it's his sister, but I think him as just a character is very sympathetic and very caring, that he would, want to try and help anyone who he thought was suffering. So I think that's just kind of the interesting part of bringing in those two characters.
Yeah. We get more this demon slayer, Tomiyaka. I liked his tough love speech, essentially, to Tanjiro, of what he actually says and what he's thinking. And so you understand he's trying to offer words of encouragement, because him saying you are weak and you're indecisive, that's going to get you killed. And it's not because he's being a mean person. He's just like, this is reality. If you have to be, on top of things, otherwise you're just going to die. But he notices that these kids are different and does let them live. And I do like that he lets them live and suggests where they should go next. Any other thoughts on this episode?
So did he shove like a bamboo stick in her mouth or something? Like, what is that thing? That shit, like that. What is that gag? I mean, it's helping for sure. It's definitely something before I even watched this show, I saw like promotional images of this character, Nezuko, and I was thinking, what is that? And so is that a bamboo stalk that's like tied around?
I'm guessing it's, I don't know what the actual material is, but I'm going to guess this, just helpful of she has sharp teeth and doesn't accidentally eat something. Actually,
something like maybe he put some sort of not spell, but some sort of jutsu. I don't know. The bamboo stick so that she can't do anything unless it's taken off.
Mm-hmm. Props to the voice actor. For having to just, I don't know if Nezuko's gonna talk, but just having to grunt. I mean, she talked in the beginning, but moving forward, I wonder if she's gonna talk. Yeah. So lots of grunting for that voice actor. And like
Back to the Demon Slayer's speech, we got Siv in the chat says, I personally love Giyu's speech to Tanjiro about not begging an enemy, which is a good point because he says, if begging worked, your family would be alive right now, which is like, oh, that's cold, man, but good point.
I mean, he's saying it though, like his family didn't just die less than 24 hours ago. Like that would make it break down even more.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on episode 1 before we talk about episode 2?
All
right.
I want to see Tanjiro just like go off because he already has a skill. You mentioned it with the whole when he threw the what's that? The axe.
He threw the rock and then threw the hatchet. Mm-hmm.
He's thinking outside the box, so there's definitely something different about him. That's what I keep saying or thinking.
Yes. And then Ollie, back to your comment on Nezuko. Chandler in the chat says Nezuko and all her True. Yes. So episode 2, we get trainer Sakonji Urokodaki. So Tanjiro looking out for his sister because the sunlight is very bad and very dangerous and makes a cute little basket. And she shrinks. How adorable was that?
She's so cute. Oh my gosh. Like you just want to like hold her and cuddle her because she's so adorable the way she shrinks and just gets in the basket, but also when she's in the hole too. It's so sad, but it's also just really cute.
I know. I love her so much already, and I know nothing about her. Especially, and I feel bad. It's like I want her to eat too. I don't want her to go hungry, but also I don't want her to be eating humans. So I just want her to be happy. Also, her hair. She's got long bundles. Like, is that an ombre natural? The ombre. Is it natural? Or is that a demon thing? That's another question.
It's a demon thing.
Okay.
There's some other demons that have similar hair coloring stuff later.
Can you change your highlights?
I don't think so, but there are some other orange and dark colors. So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Demons are so fancy.
Yeah, they all go to the same salon. So poor Tanjiro has not encountered a demon in person yet, but gets his first one at the temple. He gets that temple demon, learns they can heal themselves, and Nezuko drooling all over the blood in that room. But girl comes to the rescue. What did y'all think when she comes in with that hero kit?
I loved it, especially since she's so small. It's like it's rare unless like the show is surrounding a bunch of little girls that beat people up, like Madoka Magica or Powerpuff Girls. But the show is not necessarily surrounding Nezuko, so I think it's great like when you see her do a little bit of action. But I was like, while they were on the path and they were being warned, like, hey, this is a dangerous path. I was like, why do you have to like pass this house? I know you smell blood, but do you have to go towards it?
I know.
Like, want to see another demon? Are you prepared to fight a demon? Like, you just got off from a demon slayer. It wasn't adding up for me. But yeah, I'm glad that they were able to get through. And also, I think it's great too that they got to, see how it is to really kill a demon, you know? So it's all learning lessons, and I think they're picking up at a good pace.
Mm-hmm. I want to see her do more punt kicks. That was amazing. His head flew off. It went flying. It was amazing. I just want to see her fight too. I don't know if she's going to be much of a fighter this show, but definitely shows the strength that demons have and the powers that even with their heads off, they can still grow arms out of their head and still fight despite being a headless body. So it was really interesting.
Right?
Even her kick looked adorable. Like, I don't know what it is about her. She's so cute. But I actually really liked this entire scene because I am a huge geek when it comes to kind of different types of mythologies and lore. And obviously when we're introduced to a brand new world and they're like, okay, there's demons, I'm so curious on what types of qualities they're going to give their creatures. So like being introduced to this new demon was really cool to me because I'm like, oh, okay, so they are more or less human. Like, do they always look cray cray, or can they, you know, kind of like shut the face off and look kind of human? Also, he's eating flesh, so is he kind of do demons have traits of ghouls? Do they have traits of vampires because they can't be in the sunlight? So I loved this sequence because it really made me curious about demons and the world building that I'm sure we're going to get into with this series of like, okay, what exactly are demons? What exactly are their traits? What exactly do they all encompass?
Absolutely. I love the introduction of the scene because it does give us some of the rules, because that's the most interesting thing about any lore is like, okay, well, what rules are being established and that a show follows them? Because we're like, sure, the demon can grow arms out of its head and like its body can run around. Sweet. But you're just like, what? And to see where it goes from here is going to be exciting. What do y'all think about the body running and then Tanjiro's like, let me chase you and knock you off a cliff? Not the best plan.
I think also,
trying.
I was confused when the demon wasn't dead right away as well, because wasn't there like another demon that was beheaded, or someone had said like behead the demon, it will be dead.
Oh, yeah.
And this wasn't dying. It was like, wait, what? So, but also I remember Tanjiro also said that this demon smelled different. So maybe, you know, just like Veronica was saying, there's probably just a whole world and class of demons too, different levels possibly. I mean, I don't know. So I'm excited to find out.
Nice. Also a thing to note that was interesting, that Tanjiro, when he does his headbutt to the demon mentions his head is as hard as a rock.
Right. What's up with that? Looks at his scar or whatever the heck that is.
No, there could be a connection. Also, what did we think? So we talked about a little bit with episode 1. A good thing and a bad thing about Tanjiro is he's resisting killing this demon because he pretty much doesn't want anyone to be suffering. And in the end, he can't kill the demon and the sunlight just does it. And he's like, oh, well then that's that. What do we think this could be problematic, or is this a good trait for a character to have, or a bad character trait because he's not killing the things that's killing people?
Yeah. I'm 50-50 on it again, but here's why, and I am also going to still compare it to other anime. Okay, what was I going to say? Is it a good or a bad thing? The only reason why I will say that I don't think it's a bad thing just yet is because his family just died, and he literally has no idea what he's doing. So I'll cut him some slack there. Like, you know what I mean? He doesn't know what he's doing. As far as could it be a bad thing in the future? I don't know. I mean, if demons come out at night, he kills them in time and then waits for some sunlight. I mean, hey, if you don't have to do it, then, you know, but eventually I feel like he might, you know, just wipe your hands clean. But it reminds me of Rurouni Kenshin, because Kenshin he used to be a bad samurai if you watch Samurai X, and then he became the more gentler, kinder assassin samurai who would not kill his enemies anymore.
He used the back of his sword, right?
It still work. Say that again.
He was using the back of his sword, like he didn't use the blade part. He used the other side.
Exactly. So I mean, there's ways around it, and also that time period is very similar to Inuyasha and Demon Slayer too.
Yeah,
good comparison.
I'm a little torn on the issue because I think it depends on like the world and this lore that we're talking about. Like we still don't know the full capabilities of some of these antagonists and these villains.
Mm-hmm.
So like it works in a world like Avatar Last Airbender, not an anime, not an official anime, but like Aang didn't kill. Like that's something he just wasn't. The air monks, they didn't kill. And so like that's a good example of that, especially in that world. Like that's a good world where you can still get away with in defeating people but not killing them. But here it might be a little bit different. You know, these demons are a little nasty and are gonna eat your face off. So it's hard because you see the morals that he has for sure. But you know, are you just gonna like, okay, what if like some demon killed your family like right in front of you? Are you just not going to kill that demon? You have to, at some point, you're going to have to kill, you know, and it's not a bad thing. You have to vanquish your enemies and protect the people that you love at all costs. You know, you don't want people that you care about, your loved ones, to be in jeopardy. And sometimes you just have to kill. But that is my opinion.
Veronica, where do you think his goodness stands? Is a good thing or a bad thing?
You know what? I think at this point in time, it's a good thing. I think, you know, I'm cutting the guy some slack. This is a character who I'm sure has never had a single ounce of violence in his body. And kind of going back to what I said earlier, I still feel as though Tanjiro has never come across in his life demons. They've probably always been a myth to him. So he's always led a very simple and hardworking and peaceful life. And so in this moment when he's tasked to kill something, it's a struggle for him because it's like, yes, in my mind, I know that this thing is evil, but it's still the act of killing that I'm not comfortable with, that I've never done before in my life. So for right now, I understand his hesitation. I think in time, maybe once he starts getting more accustomed to the demon world and kind of sees the truth behind good and evil, it'll come more natural for him to be like, okay, this is a duty. This is not necessarily killing for the sake of killing. So I think his hesitance for right now is completely fine. And I think he'll grow into his duties when the time comes.
Well, luckily, speaking of good timing, we get the character of Sakonji Urokodaki, who comes in essentially and able to help him out. And he has that demon mask on that's like, whoa, okay. And he's talking to Tanjiro and saying, you're being too slow and you're too slow to make decisions. And he's going to test him to see if he's worthy of training, essentially, which is our standard anime and often the hero's journey. Let's go on a test to see if you're worthy of training. To go, what did y'all think of the test? 1, that character, and 2, they go up the mountain. Okay, now your job is just come back down. There's just traps and danger along the way.
I mean, I think it's just to kind of test his stamina too and his resilience. As far as everyone just kind of trying to bring Tanjiro down, like his family just died, people. Give him a break. You just keep beating him down and you call him weak and indecisive and too kind. Like a little bit of hope after he literally lost everything and now his sister's a demon. He doesn't know what life is right now. And I just want them to cut him some slack. But yeah, as far as the training, I totally agree with you, Carrie. It's always that whole journey to the character, and I think we're still, of course, going to see that in some future episodes. But yeah, I think it's just testing his stamina, his resilience, and seeing like if he can actually survive. I don't think that he would actually let him and his little sister die since they came all the way over there just to get training anyway. So yeah, we'll see.
Ollie.
Yes, exactly. I completely agree with what Jamie said, especially since what was his name? Giyu. Yeah, he kind of like not give him a letter of recommendation, but he's like, use my let him know I sent you. So he has to do this in order to like, you know, get better and whatnot. And it's like the whole anime trope of training brought me back to My Hero with Deku and All Might, and it's like very typical. So hopefully we can get past this and get back to the good stuff, you know. Like I'm all for training. We gotta help our characters grow and get better, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah.
Veronica.
I found it kind of weird because typically when you go on your hero's journey, the hero is kind of established himself as like, I want to make the change. Whereas Tanjiro was kind of just thrown into this in the first episode, in like the first episode and a half. He never said, I want to be a demon slayer. It was just kind of like, oh, I'm supposed to go find this guy in the hopes of helping my sister out. I didn't exactly sign on to be a demon slayer. And so for this whole test thing, I think it's, a test for both of them, just because obviously Tanjiro failed the killing part of the test. So maybe, I forget the name, the guy's like, oh, let's test your stamina and your endurance and see if you could actually even, withstand the more physical training portion of it. But yeah, I just found this whole scene very weird, because it was a very unconventional hero's journey where the hero doesn't even know he's going on a journey.
Yeah.
It's a very good point. And not a spoiler thing, but we have JR Mitak. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. It's all spelled out as letters. I think the anime addresses suffering in general very well as the show progresses. So I 100% agree. So we'll see as the show progresses and Tanjiro's stance on is he good or not, and his approach to what and who suffers is really interesting, and how the show addresses it. Their test, I do like. Our Tanjiro shows off his nose seals again, and he sniffs out the traps, but it's still very difficult, which is nice because, yeah, he's not a hero that's perfect immediately. Not that that's a bad thing, but sometimes that can be boring. So it's like, no, he's good, but he has somewhere to grow too. So we know that this character has like a journey ahead. So we learn he has the letter, that they're kind of similar. They mentioned like to essentially his new sensei, like, okay, they're going to be a similar-ish character, and he is accepted as a student. Also, the fact that this is essentially a stranger, Tanjiro is able to leave his sister with him, and the guy's like, it's okay, I'll watch her. It's like, okay, don't kill her, please.
Okay.
I think that's
put her in the basket.
Put her in the basket.
Shrink, girl, shrink.
I don't know. I get the feeling that that's just a testament to his character. Like I said, Tanjiro is very empathetic and he's very trusting. And I feel like I've said it so much this episode, in that he's just lived in such a peaceful world that I think he's having a hard time breaking away from that. He's had this very devastating event happen to him, very traumatizing, but he can't break away from the world that he once lived in. And I think that that's also going to be something that he's going to have to learn throughout his journey, that, you're going to have to make moves when you have to make moves.
Yeah. Well, I also like the comment that you shout out to JR in the chat, because he said it's about, showcasing suffering, but also like mourning. Like, obviously we don't want any of our like loved ones to like die, but death can happen, as scary as it sounds, like that, like obviously it happened in the show, and like that's the most realistic part of the show. Obviously demons aren't really real, or maybe they are, but I mean, it kind of just goes to show like the weight that sometimes you have to take over dealing with a loss of a loved one or multiple loved ones. Sometimes you have to pick up the pieces, and he has to pick up his sister and has to just move on and grow. And I think that's what this anime is also going to be about. So it's just, it's tough. It's tough kind of dealing with loss and mourning and whatnot.
Yeah, he doesn't really get any time to really process his family's death. It's go, go, go constantly. We got another great couple comments in the chat, referring back to Veronica, how the show is not a typical hero journey. Chandler says he accepts the training out of need instead of the typical shonen thing of the hero wanting to be best of the best. JR Mitak says, like Veronica says, he's a reluctant hero. And he's also uses his heart more than most shonen leads, says Chandler. And then here's a really interesting point that Flower and Bloom points out. I don't know if this helps, but to put in context, Tanjiro is 13 and Nezuko is 12. So it's our standard anime thing that they're way younger than you think.
Oh man, this boy at 13 is before demons even came. He was such a hard worker, and then demons came, and now he's being a demon slayer, and I'm sure he's gonna save the world. You want to know what I was doing at 13? I was eating ramen. Okay, playing DDR.
I'm
watching anime.
Still eating ramen.
Like,
no, but
these shonen protagonists are just, superheroes.
Right.
Crazy.
But I will say that it is refreshing that he's not like annoying Ash Ketchum, always wanting to be the best. Like, it's like you don't want to see that all the time in anime. It's not relatable. It's not relatable. Oh my god, your Pikachu is like level 99. Get out of here. But it's refreshing seeing more relatable characters who aren't perfect and aren't trying to be something that they're not, and trying to, like, obviously he's going to grow and become like a great slayer, demon slayer, but it's nice to have that hero that isn't cocky and super confident all the time, because we all have our moments when we're not feeling confident, or we know that there's always room for improvement. So it's nice. I'm really liking his character as a male lead, or as a protagonist in general.
Yeah, no, it's nice to have, as the show progresses, he's a very kind character, and it's nice to have that be the lead character. And I was gonna say, like, it's like remembering Sailor Moon, that they're in middle school, but to us here, when we watched it, I thought they were like in high school,
college. Even.
Yeah. You're like, wait, they're middle school?
They were in 8th grade at least.
Yeah, right. All right. Any other thoughts on these episodes before we get into some quick predictions, our special segment, and little tiny bit of news?
I think it was a good first 2 episodes of a series, enough to reel us all in, because that's rare. Sometimes even just for regular TV shows that we also review on AfterBuzz TV, make sure you guys check out our other channels. Sometimes they start off so slow and it doesn't get good until episode 5 or season 2. And I don't have that kind of time. But Demon Slayer is looking really good so far. And I'm excited because I'm just excited I can watch it dubbed too. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's gonna be hard not to binge this, because I'm not gonna binge it. I'm gonna just go by week, but I'm really interested. I want to know what happens. But also, before we go, that opening song is a bop. I was like, oh my God, this song goes off. I love it. It's such a good, I am a sucker for a good anime opening song, theme song.
Me too.
It's honestly a good opening theme song sets the mood for the entire series. I agree with what you're saying, Jamie, and that Demon Slayer has had a very strong opening, and that it was able to hook its audience. And for me, I think, I'm still battling this as a viewer myself, of like, would I rather be hit with a bunch of exposition in the beginning to kind of be introduced to this world, or do I want to learn about it over the course of the season? And I think Demon Slayer has done enough of a good job to hook you in the action and the characters that it's like, I'll learn about it later.
Nice. Yay, I'm glad everybody's enjoying it, and thank you so much everybody who is enjoying in the chat along with us, and thank you nobody's doing spoilers, really appreciate that. So we're only doing 2 at a time. Let's do some quick news. The only real big news thing is they did release a trailer for the movie that'll be coming out October 16th. Aniplex released the English dub version of the trailer, which is super exciting. I'd recommend y'all not watch it yet, because unless you've already have, because if you don't know what's going to happen, I don't know, maybe out of context it'll be fine. But it's a really dope trailer. I remember I saw the Japanese version of it, so it's exciting to see the English dub of it. Also, make sure to follow Demon Slayer USA, which is the official Twitter for Demon Slayer on Twitter. All right, so that's the big news, is just that the English dub trailer's out. Let's get into some quick predictions.
And now,
all right,
your AfterBuzz
who has
TV
one? We've said it a little bit. Who thinks what's going to happen in the next couple episodes?
It's so funny because I already kind of got like, what episode did I even get on? I probably got like episode 11 subbed, but I barely remember it. So it's all right. It's all good. Predictions wise, I still don't really have huge predictions besides he's probably going to go through his training, and I'm just excited to kind of see what he learns about himself and his new skills, because clearly he's going to be getting training to be a demon slayer. So I wonder what kind he'll be if he doesn't even know how to kill one just yet. And I wonder where Nezuko falls and all of that. So that's my prediction so far, is just really his training. And I think that just based on his character so far, I think he'll do well in his training.
Ollie.
I think real quick, I think Nezuko's it's gonna be really hard protecting her and whatnot, because she can't really speak, for herself. So I'm worried about if he goes and leaves her, for example. We already talked about it. Is she gonna be okay by herself being solo dolo, just hiding that basket girl? But I think we're gonna find out more about Tanjiro and his scar, whatever that is. That really just stands out to me. I can't stop looking at it. And I think a lot of his teachers and the people who are actually good demon slayers, I think the reason why they are the way they are is because they probably suffered great losses in their past, just like Tanjiro did. So those are my predictions.
Veronica.
Yeah, definitely think next few episodes might be dedicated to his training. Obviously, with the pace of this show is going, I don't think it's going to last very long. And just more like a curiosity, less of a prediction. I do wonder how Tanjiro's attitude towards demons is going to change if it does change. Obviously, Nezuko's a demon, and that's his sister, and he's going to love her unconditionally no matter what. But is he ever going to see demons as demons, or is he always going to see them as humans, as like different types of humans that just, kind of are different with the uncontrollable hunger, I guess you can say. So I wonder if he's ever going to be able to distinguish the two, or if he's always going to feel sympathetic towards demons because of his sister or because of other reasons. So more of a curiosity.
Oh, very cool. And then real quick, our special segment of Word of the Day. Jamie, you pointed out the show started with snow. So our word of the day is the word for snow, which is Yuki.
Yuki.
Soma! Yuki Soma!
So for your Romaji, that's Y-U-K-I, Yuki, for snow. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching and joining us and joining in the live chat. Also, if you're interested in devouring more of this content, you can check out the manga on viz.com for Demon Slayer. So you can watch, after you've rewatched it, you can also read it. So go check it out on viz.com. All right, now where can everybody find you? Jamie.
Hey guys, it's Jamie here. You can find me on Twitter at It's Jamie Gray, or better yet, on Instagram at Jamie Gray. My name is spelled Jaimi.
Ollie.
Hey guys, it's Ollie. Follow me on Twitch and Instagram at Ollie Dreamer.
And Veronica.
Hey everyone, Veronica Valencia here. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at It's Me, Veronica_V.
And my name's Carrie Lane. You can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's Karidlane. And also go check out our anime Twitter, which is ABTV Anime. So we post a lot of press releases about upcoming manga, games, movies, and all that. So again, thank you so much for watching and joining us, and we'll see you next time. Sayonara.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.